Good evening. It's Newsview. I'm Lee Sullivan. Thank you for allowing me in. Have the pleasure of visiting with Ron Hart again this evening. He is a syndicated columnist, an author, a libertarian, and for me, most importantly, a Fox Newsview contributor. Welcome back.
Great to be back.
Good to have you. Okay, we got a lot of stuff going on. Let's get right to the land of the pyramids. You said, you talked about it. You've written about it. Well, is a good term unrest? Is that a good term?
Yeah, it's unrest. It's Mubarak today. They thought he was gone, and he says he's going to stick around and be president. Even Brett Favre is going, "Hey, dude, it's time to go." He's 82 years old. They're searching for a way out in a dignified manner, I think, in some manners. They may have like Neil Patrick Harris or Regis host Egypt for a year, maybe have him come in and host for a year. Regis doesn't have a job. It'd be a good time for him to come in there. But it's a tough situation. Look, I'm a big fan of a thugocracy when a theocracy is the alternative when it's a Muslim theocracy.
Right.
We found that out in Iran. You don't knock out a known friend. Yeah, he busts a couple skulls here and there. A bouncer at the bar keeps order by being a muscle man, and he has to bounce a few heads. So I think we got to be careful. It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know, and the devil we don't know, waiting in the wings, is the Muslim Brotherhood. And here's a group of people that Bin Laden came from, that al-Zawahiri came from, the number 2 man in Al-Qaeda, Dr. al-Zawahiri from Egypt, came from the Muslim Brotherhood. We always kill off the number 2 guy, and at least we do always. We never seem like we get Bin Laden. We always kill the number 2 guy, which is a pretty big deal until you consider our number 2 guy is Joe Biden. Then you go, maybe.
Joe. Well, out of all of this, is the fact that they just beat the crap out of Anderson Cooper, is that like a bright spot in this thing?
I liked it. I won't send Rachel Maddow over there. May see what they do to her. Maybe the guy that just left there, what's his name? Keith Overman, take him over there and beat his big head up. No, they slapped Anderson around the head. They beat him up a little bit. It was an angry mob, and it was a surprise to Anderson. The angry mobs kind of get violent. Who knew? You got the cameras in their face.
They didn't know his status.
They know who he was. He's a national treasure now. They hit him in the head. He's Gloria Vanderbilt's son. Exactly. He didn't know who he was. And he miscalculated. He thought Gaydar only worked in New York City. Apparently Gaydar is in that. Apparently our military must have sold Gaydar to the Egyptians a while back in some major arms deal. So they have it over there. And but he got slapped around the head and the stomach. He may have got kicked in the Mini Cooper. I don't know. I'm not sure what they did to him. Something a lot of Americans probably would like to have done too over time. But
well, and meantime, back at the White House, what's happening over there?
He doesn't know. I think
watching CNN.
Klopper, this guy, the national security director, Klopper, is a complete nut. He didn't know there was an attack in England when he was on with Diane Sawyer one time. It was like his handlers told him on stage there'd been a major attack a while back over in London. So the guy doesn't have a clue. He also said the Muslim Brotherhood is a secular organization. Never mind that it spawned, again, al-Zawahiri, Bin Laden, a bunch of terrorists. He says it's a secular organization. Time for Klopper to go. He made a lot of money with that little thing where it turns on the lights.
Right.
So he can go rest on his laurels, maybe make a grill or something like that, like George Foreman did, make some money and leave. But he needs to move on. The problem the Democrats always have, there's 2 areas that they really are wanting in. They usually have a terrible financial person. Because anyone smart in finance is not a Democrat. Very few. There's 2 or 3%, and they're either inherited money or they're oddballs like George Soros. That's a Hungarian nut job. So most people that made their money aren't Democrats. They have a hard time in the financial sector, which has been a problem for Obama, and they also have a problem in national security. If you're a tough national security person, you're not a liberal. You're not a Democrat. So they got Janet Napolitano, who looks like a retired gym teacher from a small town, living with 12 cats and her friend, a roommate for years. And she's our top cop, and I think Rush Limbaugh or someone calls him Clouseau, Captain Inspector Clouseau and Napolitano. She looks like, who's scared of her? She's so worried about hurting someone's feelings in the TSA lines, in terms of being politically correct about everybody, than really ferreting out terrorists and protecting the country. So on those two areas, they fail. Now, I have empathy for Obama. Look, I worked in Washington when I was at school, and I worked at the U.S. Trade Representative's office. And I see these bureaucracies. It's the same bureaucracy that Bill Clinton had. It's the same bureaucracy that the Bushes had. And it's the same one that he inherited. So in fairness to him, look, these bureaucracies, the CIA has an $80 billion budget, and they didn't see this coming. They got an $80 billion budget, and they're getting their news on CNN, on TV. Clopper says he gets his information on the situation in Egypt from TV. Right. $80 billion budget, give us back the money, and we'll watch TV for you.
Buy him a plasma.
Yeah, buy him plasma get TiVo. You keep up with everything. That's your security. They didn't know that they didn't have weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They don't really foresee a lot of these terrorist activities. Yet, and Bush did this to his fault, in my opinion. Never let a good crisis go to waste. He spawned a lot of other agencies out of the Homeland Security Division. Right. The Patriot Act and things there, I think as a libertarian, he overstepped his bounds and expanded the powers of government to no avail. He really hasn't kept us safe.
Well, what do you think? In this whole new, different world, you got the internet and Facebook, and every time you have something like you have in Egypt, it seems to have been spawned or grows off of that particular venue.
Right.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that anytime Google and any form of open exchange of ideas is unferreted and uncontrolled, unfettered by government is good. You saw the first thing Mubarak did is shut down Facebook and the internet. And I said jokingly on one show, I said, if you want the Muslim men off the streets back in their house, turn the internet back on, because they'll go watch porn or play video games. If you want them off the street, you should just do the opposite of what you actually did there. But social media is a very powerful organizer. Look, this Zuckerberg guy is worth $50 billion. This Egyptian overthrow, as I said, is the equivalent of like 3 million people unfriending Mubarak at one time on Facebook. It's a powerful medium, and in times there's so are bloggers, and bloggers have uncovered what the media want over the years. Gawker came out recently with an interesting thing about the congressman up in New York, National Enquirer. There's room for any honest media. ABC, NBC, CBS, they're the Sergeant Schultz of media. They see nothing Obama does wrong. I see nothing. It's that type of mindset. So with Fox, thank goodness we have Fox. Thank goodness we have Drudge and other forms of media to balance things out, keep them on their toes, keep them honest.
Ron Hart, we'll be right back. Welcome back. It's News View, visiting with Ron Hart, syndicated columnist, author, libertarian, and Fox News View contributor. We've been talking about Egypt, and it's, if you're a regular American, you look at that crap over there and you think, please, let's not get mired up in that. We just gave them how much? $1 billion?
$1.5 billion a year.
And so where's Hillary the Great? Where is she?
She's been interesting, this whole thing. At first, she backed Mubarak and the Egyptian regime, clearly a 30-year friend of America, which is is reasonable.
For $1.5 billion a year,
bought and paid for. He's
really.
He's our thug. You don't want. He's the thug versus the one you don't know. So he's bought and paid for. He's a friend of Israel, which is important. He's the only Mideastern country with a peace treaty with Israel that gets along with Israel now after a couple wars. So he's bought and paid for. So I think she came out initially for him. Then the tea leaves changed. Apparently Obama said, we're going to have democratic elections. All of a sudden he sees the Muslim Brotherhood come up. He probably backed it because he thought it was a union or something. He inherently likes things that says Muslim and Brotherhood. And she's vacillated on the whole issue. And again, her voice in the Mideast is, I'm sure they listen to her because there's nothing that young male Islamic radicals like to listen to than a Presbyterian woman telling them what to do.
Really?
So her gravitas
bonding
is
down that one. Yeah. Well, what this brotherhood thing? I mean, is it just forever been there and rises to the forefront, or what's the deal on that?
Again, it spawned Bin Laden and al-Zawahiri and some other people, and so it's been around a while as a fledgling religious organization. They got 20% of the election votes last election, so they are in a position where they're organized, which makes them in a good spot right now. Look, you got an uprising. The race is to the swift,
right.
And they're organized, and they and the same like a community organizer. I mean, he kind of likes the idea of a community organizer. These people are organized, and to tell me that there's not going to be some sort of fatwa or some sort of Sharia law there under their rule is folly. It's nuts. I mean, and the notion of being a free democratic election. Look, Mubarak's been rigging those elections for years, and the people that have power in this country, of any country since Adam and Eve time, is whoever has the guns and the ballot box. Now, those people, you've seen it.
Right.
At the point of the gun, that's what rules the situation, and Americans know that. Now, can there be a peaceful transition? I think the longer we wait with Mubarak in there, it gives a reasonable third-party alternative to run over there. Maybe Ron Paul has a chance over there. I don't know. There needs to be some other form of government other than the religious theocracies. Because in these worlds over there, you have three types of government that control these people. A thugocracy, like you had of Saddam Hussein. Wish he was still there, honestly. I wish we had $1 trillion back. I wish he was there to, keeping tabs on people. You have a theocracy, like you have in Iran, where the mullahs and the ayatollahs run things. And you have a kleptocracy, kleptomania, guys that steal money, Baby Doc and these people, and Mugabe and these people in these other worlds, all of which keep order. Theoretically, they're not your best long-term solution, but the notion that we think everybody in America should everybody in the world should be immediately like us is the highest form of hubris.
Well, I said last night, let them work it out. Let them work it out by themselves. Let them work it out on their own.
Sure.
Their game,
right?
Their
not
time,
our problem.
Exactly. Ron Hart. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's News View, visiting with Ron Hart, syndicated columnist, author, libertarian, Fox News View contributor, and we're going to slide a little bit here. Sarah Palin did not go to CPAC because she was about something else. And Marco Rubio didn't go because he said there were other important things. So out of that, they just met. Out of that, was your president in that mix?
My president won last year, Ron Paul, the person I voted for.
Right.
I think he has the most workable solutions. I think Rand Paul is certainly the heir apparent to his ideology. He's the one that's proposing the most budget cuts right now.
Yeah,
he's the
$500 billion. Yeah.
Yeah, look, he's got a purple state to win and lose, so he's got to be really careful because we could lose him. It's not like he's got like a Georgia seat or a Texas seat that he can keep forever, like his dad had a Houston, Texas area. But I like Rand Paul. He says the right things. He has the right balance. He would get my vote if he ran. It's interesting that Palin and Rubio didn't go. Of course, Palin has to come from Alaska. I understand that. Rubio's right there in D.C.
Right.
That's a conscious snub.
And he was there last year.
Yeah. When he's running for office, people go to you go to a lot of different things when you're running for office. Once you're elected, your tone and tenor often changes. But Rubio, I like Rubio a lot. I think maybe he's a little worried about being mired too much with the Tea Party. No one knows what direction it's in. It's a little bit of a disjointed organization. They can come off as zealots sometimes. The way they booed Trump the other day, and I don't know if you saw Donald Trump, who's, by the way, people don't know this. Donald Trump has thrown his hair into the ring on the
president. So he said he'd be much better than Sarah Palin.
I think he would. To be honest with you, I'm not a Sarah Palin fan. I think she has a role to play, but I think the intellect and her point of view on social issues is not mine. I think she'd like to make our country more of a theocracy than it needs to be. I'm more of a Rand Paul, libertarian, minimal government, minimal intrusion, individual responsibility, and she's really more like maybe George Bush was with his compassionate conservatism. Compassionate means we're going to kind of tell you what to do about gay marriage. We're going to tell you what to do about this. We're going to tell you what to do about that. It's not the role of government to make moral decisions for individuals.
Well, here's the Truett Cathy, the owner of Chick-fil-A, whose stores are closed on Sunday.
Right.
Okay. Not at least not a surprise to me. Said she condemned gay marriage, and of course, whenever you do something like that, you got to have the word controversial in that.
Right.
I mean, so do you think people will eat less chicken because?
I heard someone say they're going to make it. The PR department is going to make it up to the American people, at least the gay community, by launching a new sandwich, a Chick-on-Chick-fil-A sandwich. That's awful.
That's so wrong.
That's wrong, man. So many levels.
No.
Truett Cathy, look, he's in Atlanta there. He sticks by his philosophy. Look, he's a private business owner. He can do what he wants to do.
Say what he wants to say.
Look, I wouldn't close my stores on Sundays, but God bless him. He wants to do that. His right to do that.
Right.
I think he sets a great tone. And that, getting back to Sarah Palin and government, moral authority, what we do with people, is set by Truett Cathy and people who live the life, not government telling you what to do. We're fearful of this theocracy in Egypt and in Iran. We should be equally fearful of it over here. I mean, government's role is not to promote a religion.
Right.
Even Christianity is, we're a Christian nation, no doubt about it. Preponderance of people are Christian, but we're not, the government's role is not to promote that and not to codify the Bible into law.
Right. I like to say, and sometimes I make people angry, that government does not create Christians. That is not, they don't do that. They don't make, government doesn't make Christians.
Sure.
And when we come back, we got to do a little bit about old Charlie Sheen, who is fast becoming, for me, the American male icon, following some really infamous people like Belushi and John Candy and Ron Hart.
Not a follow me.
Welcome back. It's Newsview. I'm visiting with Ron Hart, and I want to talk with him here towards the end about Charlie Sheen, who is just, I mean, what? I don't know if the off the rails is good, or, I mean, he's just, what is he, living the American dream?
Well,
or?
If Charlie Sheen was a board game, it'd be a lot more fun than Monopoly.
Really?
That much. He's living his character on TV. Is kind of what he's doing. I mean, he's the only guy in America, I think. This Capri Anderson, I think her name was. Capri Anderson sued him for defamation. This is a porn star in his hotel room. So he's the only guy in America being sued for defaming the good name of a porn star. So you reach some pretty low debts when you do that. But look, it's fun. I mean, he's a fun guy. I mean, he's like Hollywood used to be. I mean, you had the Rat Pack. You had these. I mean, he lives his life as he chooses. I mean, it's his deal. They pay him. CBS decides to pay him $1 million half an episode. That's their.
He hadn't lost any motion in that part of it.
And apparently, an episode means, by CBS terms, when the police are called. That's an episode. Apparently, in their mindset, I don't know. But we were talking the other night, my wife and I, about this whole situation. It's kind of selfish. You get yourself in trouble because he makes $1 million half an episode. But this other guy, John Cryer, all these people on the set. I mean, when he messes up, he's messed up a lot of people's paychecks. The cameraman, the gaffers, whatever. So I mean, he's a raging liberal.
Yeah, you don't think Charlie cares, though. I mean, do you?
It's a very selfish endeavor. I mean, it's self-destructive, and the good news is he puts himself in rehab in his home. He locks himself up like Otis.
House arrest.
Yeah, it's like Otis on Mayberry, and he's got women coming over, and he gets a hernia. Apparently, the last deal was he had 3 porn stars at his crib, and he went to the hospital for a hernia. And I'm saying, Charlie, they're bought and paid for. You're not married. You don't have to carry them over the threshold.
Really?
You don't have to do that. They're kind of, it's pretty much a sure thing when you bring those girls over. So.
One of the best things that you did, though, I was reading one of your pieces, and you suggested that he might want to go to Iraq or Iran because he had heard that women get stoned over there.
He felt the need to opine on some matters such as that. I mean, he barely got out of high school. I mean, I actually wrote several columns about him. I find him interesting fodder. Certainly, if you're a humorist, you know, it's great. Like Bill Clinton, anyone that has sexual innuendo, you can have a good column with it. So it's fun to write about him. But he's also a product of America and Hollywood and with his leftist views. I mean, he thinks that 9/11. He was a part of that group that thought 9/11 was made up by Bush and the State Department just to galvanize people behind Bush in a war to gain oil. So that shows you his high school education in Santa Monica, wherever. It was very powerful.
You gotta love it. Remember, those are my views. What are yours?